Think about this, Lions fans. What if the most reliable target on Detroit's offense suddenly became the biggest question mark of the season? Could the pillars that carried us to a 15-win campaign be crumbling before our eyes? Welcome back to Lions News Fan Report, where we serve up Motor City's hottest rumors and breaking news with that raw passion only true fans understand. Before we dive into today's jaw-dropping scoop, smash that like button and subscribe to Lions News Fan Report so you never miss a moment in these electric times. Today, we're talking about the unthinkable. Star wideout Amon-Ra St. Brown, your go-to chain mover and offensive spark plug, may be sidelined longer than anyone expected after a mysterious knee procedure that has tongues wagging across the NFL. Now, you know the headlines have been painting this as a minor cleanup surgery. St. Brown himself told reporters he's good to go for training camp. But let's be honest, when whispers start circling about cleanup operations, could it really be anything less than a red flag? Could this be a deeper issue that Detroit's brass is desperately trying to keep under wraps? Some insiders suggest that Amon-Ra's absence at OTAs wasn't just casual rest. It might signal a more serious setback, one that could see our Pro Bowl receiver missing critical early-season games. Picture this. OTAs wrapped up, and the buzz was supposed to be about how Amon-Ra is going to pick up right where he left off, coming off a historic 2024 campaign with 115 catches, 1,963 yards, and 12 touchdowns. He was the glue that held this offense together, feared by defensive coordinators league-wide. Yet, instead of seeing number 14 sprinting across the field, we hear that he's been rehabbing in solitude, away from pads and 7-on-7 drills. Is it possible that Amon-Ra's knee isn't healing as perfectly as we thought? Could this routine surgery be masking something far more ominous, perhaps ligament damage or nagging inflammation that can flare up at any moment? Fans on social media are already speculating, and the tone is growing frantic. If we lose Amon-Ra early, where do we turn for consistent receptions? Who steps up in those clutch moments when defenses key in on Jefferson and Goff's other options? Let's rewind slightly to understand the gravity. In his first 4 NFL seasons, St. Brown has climbed the ranks to become one of the most productive receivers in franchise history. He rewrote the Lions' single-season reception record, hauled in those jaw-dropping sideline toe taps, and delivered time and again in crunch time. He wasn't just a weapon, he was the heartbeat of an offense hungry for a Super Bowl. Now, picture that heartbeat stuttering on the precipice of training camp. Could this be the moment that reshapes Detroit's offensive identity? Some scouts are privately whispering, this isn't like other minor tweaks we see in June. There's definitely more to this procedure, and it might keep him out of the season opener. Remember, Detroit opens the 2025 season in London against a divisional rival, a stage where every weapon counts. If Amon-Ra isn't ready, defenses will swarm Aiden Hutchinson's edge blitzes with less fear of the quick-release pass. Imagine the pressure on Jared Goff to force-feed the ball to less-known faces or rely heavily on Jahmyr Gibbs's backfield. Heroics. Is it possible that our off-season plans to bolster the receiving core were actually a contingency for this exact scenario? Could that veteran addition we heard rumors about make more sense now, waiting in the wings until St. Brown returns? And the timing of this news, just after spring practices, raises another question. Why not wait until training camp to announce it? Why feed this rumor mill now, instead of when the pads are on and players are going full speed? Some insiders believe the front office wanted to control the narrative before national media blew it out of proportion. Others whisper that Detroit's medical staff is still finalizing Amon-Ra's clearance, and until they're 100% confident, he won't be on any practice field. Could this be why he skipped that high-profile charity event in late May, despite previously committing to show up? Could it be that he's playing a mental game with defenders, letting them wonder if he'll be back sooner rather than later? Now, I've laid out the facts, the whispers, and the possible scenarios. Some hopeful, some unsettling. But one thing remains crystal clear. Amon-Ra St. Brown isn't just a player. He's the epicenter of our hopes for 2025. Stay glued to Lions News Fan Report because in Part 2, we'll break down exactly how Detroit could navigate this storm, which players might step up, and, if that dreaded delay holds, when we might finally see Amon-Ra back in action. But until then, digest this. Could the omen of a routine cleanup actually be hiding a far deeper concern? How would you recalibrate your expectations if our star receiver is out longer than anyone dares to admit? Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Lions News Fan Report so you don't miss a single update on Amon-Ra's status. Now, diving back in, with training camp on the horizon and padded practices about to ramp up, Detroit's front office is reportedly exploring every contingency. Could veteran journeyman Josh Reynolds see an expanded role early on? Might rookie Ricky White earn reps alongside Brock Wright to fill the immediate void? Insiders whisper that offensive coordinator Ben Johnson is already dialing up packages designed to camouflage Amon-Ra's absence, using motion-heavy sets and quick-hitting screens to keep defenses honest. But let's be real. None of that replaces the dynamic explosiveness and sure-handed security our star receiver brings on 3rd and long. Is it possible that the Lions, despite these adjustments, find themselves sputtering offensively until number 14 strides back onto the field? Behind the scenes, coaches are said to be huddled in emergency meetings, debating whether to push a midseason waiver claim for a replacement player if the rehab extends past September. Could this urgency indicate they expect Amon-Ra to miss at least the first 3 games? And if that happens, imagine Week 4's green and silver clash becoming the de facto debut party for our returning Pro Bowler. Picture the roar from the stands when St. Brown, still wearing a slight sleeve over that surgically repaired knee, sprints his first route in front of a national audience. Could that moment send a chill through every defensive coordinator across the league, reminding them exactly why they feared Detroit's passing game? Of course, all of this speculation hinges on the medical staff's final verdict. Rumor has it the Lions' doctors will conduct a full field evaluation by late August, testing Amon-Ra on live 7-on-7 drills to verify his knee can handle in-game strain. If he aces those tests, we might get an official full-go announcement just before Week 1. But if he wavers, if that knee still hesitates under pressure, Detroit could opt for a slower ramp-up, pushing his first appearance to mid-September. Fans are divided. Some say protect him at all costs, while others argue we need him right away to keep defenses honest. Which camp are you in? Let's consider the ripple effect on this roster. With Amon-Ra sidelined, Amani Oruwariye in the secondary might see increased targets from opponents, daring Detroit to expose his man-to-man matchups. Could this vulnerability force the Lions to blitz more frequently, putting extra pressure on Jared Goff and the offensive line? If so, Aiden Hutchinson's pass rush opportunities could multiply, potentially transforming him into an early-season sack leader, a silver lining for our defense. But does that trade-off justify playing it? Safe with Amon-Ra's timetable? Could a dominant defensive surge balance out a stagnant passing attack for the first month? And what about the locker room? Teammates have already voiced concern over St. Brown's prolonged absence. Reports say Jared Goff has personally reached out to Amon-Ra, offering encouragement and even sending game plans to study while he rehabs. This camaraderie might help mitigate any rust Amon-Ra faces upon return, but it also highlights how critical his presence is in pre-snap adjustments and audibles. Could his leadership off the field prove just as valuable as his production on it? Some coaches believe that as long as Amon-Ra remains engaged in film sessions and team meetings, the transition back will be smoother, allowing him to slot right, back into those chemistry-dependent routes. Now, let's not forget the emotional arc. Picture someone like Jameson Williams, desperate to prove himself, stepping up in Amon-Ra's absence only to struggle under the bright lights of primetime. Could this pressure cooker scenario backfire on Detroit? Or will it accelerate Williams' growth and create a dynamic 1-2 punch with St. Brown upon his return? The whispers around Ford Field suggest that this adversity could ultimately strengthen the receiving corps, forcing players to elevate their game. But is that gamble worth risking early season losses? But what do you think about all of this? How would you shuffle the depth chart if Amon-Ra misses multiple weeks? Could our defense hold down the fort while the offense finds its footing, or will we be in for a rough October? I'm itching to read your takes. Drop them below, and let's set this comment section on fire. If you loved this deep dive, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to Lions News Fan Report, and turn on notifications so you're the first to know when Amon-Ra's clearance date finally drops. Thanks for watching, Lions fans. Let's roar together through whatever challenges lie ahead.